My beloved child, pause for just one heartbeat, because what you are about to hear may become the moment you remember whenever you look back and realize everything began to change. You almost kept scrolling. You almost convinced yourself this was just another ordinary message. But what if this exact moment arrived for a reason beyond coincidence? What if what seemed delayed was actually being prepared? Stay with these words a little longer, because the ending of this message begins with something your heart has quietly carried for a very long time. You have spent countless days wondering if what disappeared from your life was gone forever. Opportunities faded. Dreams became distant memories. Certain relationships changed without explanation. Even your own confidence seemed to slip away piece by piece until you questioned whether the person you once believed you could become still existed. Yet there has always been something you could not fully explain. Deep inside, beneath every disappointment, a small light refused to go out. It whispered that your story was unfinished. Listen carefully. The chapters you call losses were never meant to become your ending. They became the place where unseen preparation quietly began. Every season that felt empty carried invisible movement. While you were measuring life by what you could see, countless possibilities were arranging themselves beyond your vision. Sometimes restoration begins long before anyone recognizes it. It begins in silence. It begins when nothing appears to be changing. It begins while the world assumes nothing remarkable is happening. Have you ever noticed how dawn arrives while most people are still asleep? The sky changes before anyone applauds it. Your own life has been following that same pattern. Perhaps you have asked, why has nothing happened yet? But another question is waiting to replace it. What if everything has already started? That question changes everything. Because restoration rarely announces itself with noise. It enters quietly. One conversation. One unexpected opportunity. One decision. One moment of courage. One door that suddenly opens after years of standing still. Looking backward, people call it luck. Looking deeper, you recognize it as perfect timing finally revealing itself. Do not let disappointment convince you that delay equals denial. Time has been shaping parts of your character that success alone could never teach. Patience has strengthened your vision. Hope has stretched your capacity. Every challenge has quietly expanded the person who will eventually receive what once seemed impossible. Now imagine this. Imagine discovering that the very things you believed were broken beyond repair became the foundation of your greatest season. Imagine realizing that every unanswered question prepared you to recognize answers that others would overlook. Imagine understanding that every closed door protected you from paths that were never designed for your future. Would you still call those moments failures? Or would you finally recognize them as hidden preparation? Stay a little longer, because another truth is waiting. There are moments in every life when everything appears unchanged on the outside, while everything has already shifted beneath the surface. Seeds grow long before flowers appear. Rivers carve mountains without making headlines. The strongest transformations begin quietly enough that only those who remain patient ever witness their full beauty. Your journey has entered that kind of season. You may not see the complete picture today, but pieces are moving into place with remarkable precision. People who once overlooked your value will begin noticing qualities that were always there. Opportunities that seemed unreachable may suddenly arrive from unexpected directions. The confidence you thought had disappeared has not been destroyed, it has simply been waiting for the right moment to awaken again. Take a slow breath and let this thought settle inside you. You were never defined by what left your life. You are being shaped by what is about to return in a new and greater form. Not everything that comes back looks exactly the same. Sometimes restoration means receiving wisdom instead of confusion, peace instead of pressure, purpose instead of wandering, clarity instead of fear. Sometimes what returns is far greater than what was lost because you have become someone capable of carrying it with strength and gratitude. Before this message continues, ask yourself one honest question. If tomorrow surprised you with everything you have quietly hoped for, would you recognize it, or would you still be looking at yesterday? Keep listening, because the next part reveals why the moment you thought everything was over may actually become the place where your greatest restoration truly begins. Something is shifting even now. Not with noise, not with dramatic signs, but with a quiet certainty that reaches places your eyes cannot yet see. Stay with me for a little longer, because this is where many people stop listening, and they miss the very message that could change the way they see their own journey. There comes a moment when everything that once looked disconnected suddenly begins to fit together like pieces of a masterpiece that was being created all along. You have wondered why certain prayers seemed unanswered, why some doors stayed closed, why people walked away without giving you the explanation you deserved. Yet every unanswered moment carried hidden direction. You were never abandoned in those silent seasons. You were being redirected towards something that matched the person you are becoming, not the person you used to be. Think about the strongest tree in a forest. Long before anyone admires its height, its roots have already spent years growing where no one could see them. Your life has been growing roots of wisdom, resilience, compassion, and quiet confidence. Those invisible roots are preparing to support blessings that would have been too heavy for an earlier version of you. That is why you must not measure your progress only by visible results. Some of the greatest victories begin where human eyes cannot reach. What if the delay that frustrated you was actually protecting the timing of something extraordinary? What if every disappointment quietly removed a path that would have distracted you from something infinitely better? These are not empty thoughts, they are invitations to see your life from a higher perspective. The story is still unfolding, and the pages ahead hold moments you cannot predict today. Soon you will notice small changes. A conversation that feels strangely meaningful. A new opportunity arriving without warning. A fresh sense of peace where anxiety once lived. None of these moments will seem random when you look back. They will become the evidence that restoration had already begun before you recognized it. So lift your eyes beyond what feels incomplete today. Do not allow temporary circumstances to write permanent conclusions. Your future is larger than your current view, and every step forward is bringing you closer to the chapter you have been waiting for. If these words have encouraged your heart, you can share this message with someone who may need hope today, and if this journey speaks to you, feel free to leave a comment about what you're believing for and subscribe so we can continue walking this path together. But before you move on, hold on to one final thought. The restoration ahead is not only about recovering what seemed lost. It is about discovering a version of your life that is stronger, wiser, and more meaningful than you ever imagined. And what comes next may reveal why everything had to happen exactly when it did. Before your mind begins to question these words, stay here for one more moment, because this is where the hidden pattern finally starts to reveal itself. There is a difference between waiting for something to happen and standing at the edge of a season that has already begun to change. Most people cannot tell the difference until they look back. But you have the opportunity to recognize it while you are living through it. That alone changes the way you walk forward. The days ahead are asking you to pay attention to the quiet moments that others ignore. Sometimes the greatest answers do not arrive with loud announcements. They appear in ordinary conversations that carry extraordinary meaning. They arrive through unexpected ideas, renewed confidence, fresh perspective, or a door opening exactly when you had almost stopped knocking. You may think these are small moments, but they often become the turning points that reshape an entire future. Imagine looking back 1 year from now and realizing that this very season was not the end of your story, it was the place where everything quietly began to come back together. Every lesson you learn through uncertainty is becoming wisdom that no one can take away from you. Every setback strengthened a part of your character that comfort could never have developed. Every moment you chose hope over discouragement planted a seed that is preparing to bear fruit in ways you cannot yet imagine. Never underestimate what steady faith, patient endurance, and quiet perseverance can build over time. The world often celebrates instant success, but lasting transformation usually grows beneath the surface long before anyone notices it. That is why you should never compare your path with someone else's timeline. Your journey has its own rhythm, and every step has been shaping you for a purpose that belongs uniquely to you. There will come a day when people ask how everything changed so quickly, not realizing that the real work had been happening long before visible results appeared. They will only see the harvest. They will never fully understand the seasons of preparation that came before it. And when that day arrives, remember to stay humble, grateful, and generous with the hope you have received, because someone else will be standing where you once stood, wondering if restoration is still possible. Let your life become the answer they are searching for. So keep moving forward with quiet confidence. Release the weight of yesterday without forgetting the lessons it taught you. Make room in your heart for new opportunities, new relationships, new purpose, and new joy. The restoration unfolding before you is not asking you to return to the past, it is inviting you into a future that is greater because of everything you have overcome. Hold on a little longer, because the next part uncovers the unexpected reason why the things that once seemed permanently lost may return in ways far beyond anything you originally imagined. Take one more step with me, because what you are about to understand has the power to change not only how you see your past, but also how you welcome your future. There is a reason your heart has been stirred throughout this message. It is because deep within you, something has already begun to awaken. The version of you that once believed everything was over is quietly giving way to someone who sees possibility where there once seemed to be only silence. Restoration is not simply about receiving back what you thought was gone. It is about becoming the kind of person who can recognize, appreciate, and protect what is coming next. That is why this season has shaped you with patience instead of haste, wisdom instead of impulse, and quiet strength instead of fear. What once felt like an empty road was actually preparing your footsteps for a destination greater than you imagined. One day you will look back and realize that every pause carried purpose, every detour carried direction, and every delay carried unseen value. Nothing meaningful was wasted. Even the moments that made you question everything became part of a larger picture that could only be understood with time. So as new opportunities begin to appear, welcome them with courage instead of doubt. As fresh relationships enter your life, greet them with an open heart instead of old fears. As unexpected doors begin to open, walk through them with gratitude rather than hesitation. The future does not ask you to carry yesterday's burdens into tomorrow's blessings. It invites you to travel lighter, stronger, and wiser than before. If these words have brought hope into your day, perhaps someone else is waiting to hear the same encouragement. Feel free to share this message with them, leave a comment about the restoration you are believing for, and subscribe if you would like to continue this journey together through future messages like this. And before this moment comes to an end, remember one final truth. The greatest transformations rarely announce themselves in advance. They reveal themselves one faithful step at a time. So keep your heart open, keep your vision clear, and keep moving forward with confidence. The story is not ending where you expected, it is opening into a chapter filled with renewed purpose, unexpected joy, and opportunities that once seemed impossible. Stay ready, because what you thought was lost may soon become the very evidence that your brightest season was quietly waiting just beyond the horizon. There is one last truth your heart needs to hear, because this message was never only about what you lost. It has always been about who you are becoming while you waited. Think for a moment about every challenge that tried to convince you to give up. Each one arrived carrying the same silent question: will you stop believing in what cannot yet be seen? Yet here you are, still searching, still hoping, still willing to listen for something greater than your present circumstances. That alone reveals a strength you may have overlooked. The future does not belong only to those who move the fastest. It often belongs to those who continue moving when progress feels invisible. Your quiet persistence has been shaping a foundation that cannot easily be shaken. And now, the time is approaching to build upon it. The opportunities ahead may not arrive exactly as you once imagined, but they may exceed every expectation you quietly held within your heart. Sometimes restoration comes wrapped inside a new beginning rather than a return to the past. Sometimes the dream that unfolds is more meaningful because it carries lessons your earlier self could never have understood. That is why you should release the need to control every detail and instead remain open to possibilities that are larger than your current imagination. Keep your thoughts focused on hope instead of fear. Keep your words filled with gratitude instead of regret. Keep your attention on the doors that are opening rather than the ones that already closed. Every sunrise reminds the world that endings are often disguised as beginnings, and every new season proves that life has an incredible way of renewing itself when the time is right. So walk into tomorrow expecting moments that surprise you with peace, conversations that inspire new direction, and opportunities that remind you your story is still unfolding. Let kindness become your strength, patience become your companion, and courage become your daily choice. The path ahead does not require perfection, it only asks for willingness to keep taking the next faithful step. As this message comes to a close, carry these words with you wherever you go. what appeared to be the end may simply have been the quiet doorway into your greatest season of growth, purpose, and renewal. Hold your head high, protect your peace, and never underestimate the power of one new day. The next chapter is already waiting, and when you finally step into it, you may discover that everything you thought was lost was leading you towards something even more meaningful than you ever imagined. And now, before this journey comes to its final destination, allow one more thought to settle deep within your heart. Imagine standing at the top of a mountain after a long climb. From that height, every winding path suddenly makes sense. The steep hills, the unexpected turns, the moments when you wanted to stop, they all become part of one beautiful view. Life often works the same way. Meaning is rarely discovered in the middle of the struggle. It is revealed when you continue walking beyond it. That is why you must never judge your future by your present circumstances. The page you are living today is not the entire story. There are chapters ahead that have not yet been written, conversations that have not yet happened, opportunities that have not yet appeared, and moments of joy that your heart has not yet imagined. Keep making room for them. Keep expecting them. Every sunrise carries possibilities that yesterday could never offer. Every new beginning quietly reminds you that life has an extraordinary way of surprising those who refuse to lose hope. Perhaps the greatest restoration is not only the return of peace, purpose, confidence, or opportunity. Perhaps the greatest restoration is discovering that your spirit remained stronger than every challenge you faced. No disappointment was able to erase your ability to dream. No setback was able to silence your inner light forever. That light is still within you, brighter now because it has been tested. As you move forward from this moment, choose to walk with expectation instead of hesitation. Speak with kindness even when the world feels uncertain. Welcome each day with gratitude, knowing that every small step creates momentum towards something greater. Celebrate progress, no matter how small it seems, because remarkable journeys are built one faithful step at a time. And whenever doubt tries to return, remember this message. Remember that hope grows strongest when circumstances suggest otherwise. Remember that quiet seasons often prepare extraordinary outcomes. Remember that your greatest chapter does not have to look like your previous one to become your favorite. Lift your eyes toward what lies ahead. Let yesterday remain a lesson, not a limitation. Let today become the place where renewed confidence begins, and let tomorrow become the evidence that every season of preparation carried lasting purpose. The story continues beyond this moment, and the best pages are still waiting to be lived. Until we meet again, carry hope with you, protect your peace, encourage someone who needs it, and never forget that the future has a remarkable way of rewarding those who keep moving forward with courage, wisdom, and an open heart.